Hello, this is Marshall Riddle from MCUL, welcoming Mo Masud, Senior Manager, Actuarial and Insurance Solutions, Advanced Analytics and Modeling Services at Deloitte Consulting. Thanks for joining us, Mo.
Oh, hi, Marshall. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and get started with the question and answer. Go ahead and please describe what is meant by rules-based analytics and why is it important for health plans to implement?
Sure. Rules-based analytics is a framework that health plans can use to maximize the application of predictive analytics-driven insight in the day-to-day decision-making process. It involves developing a set of business rules derived from predictive analytics that translate the analytics output into a recommended set of business actions. Typically, this is part of a broader enterprise decision management strategies that companies implement to help automate any decisions that occur on a day-to-day basis. There's a variety of commercially available business rules management software systems available on the market that make the process of harvesting, developing, and deploying rules derived from analytics a much simpler process than before. These tools also allow for an additional layer of analytics to be placed on top of the underlying predictive analytics solution so that the optimal set of rules-based decisions or recommendations are applied. Association rules, decision trees, linear optimization, and Monte Carlo simulation are all examples of leveraging additional forms of analytics during the rules development process. It's important for health plans to implement a rules-based analytics framework to ensure that the insights gained from predictive analytics are applied consistently each and every time. Predictive analytics, by definition, is based on historical data and the synthesis of relationships in this data that's used to determine what could have been done if analytics-driven decisions were applied. However, these insights must be applied prospectively for specific applications for health plans to realize the benefits from their analytics investments. Depending on the application supported by predictive analytics, there still is a great deal of subjectivity that exists in the day-to-day decision-making process. Rules-based analytics is one way to reduce some of the subjectivity and introduce a more objective and consistent decision-making process across the enterprise.
And what challenges have health plans traditionally faced when implementing predictive analytics initiatives, and how can rules-based analytics help them overcome those challenges?
As previously mentioned, I think the consistent application of insights driven by predictive analytics in the day-to-day decision-making process is probably the greatest challenge that health plans have faced when implementing predictive analytics. Other challenges include the ever-changing external operating environment, lack of compliance by health plan members for specific recommendations such as health education or disease management, and lack of adoption by end users that are using analytics to support day-to-day decision-making. All of these challenges can be overcome by an enterprise rules-based analytics approach. More specifically, rules-based analytics provides health plans with the following benefits: ease of interpretation regardless of someone's experience level or depth of understanding of analytics, enhanced knowledge capture through a central repository of business rules, opportunities to develop cause and effect and what-if scenarios that support the development of an optimal set of rules, as well as the opportunity to temper or adjust recommendations driven by analytics to achieve the desired level of acceptance and compliance. A framework that supports the ease of maintenance and ability to adjust analytics-driven recommendations based on changes in the external market and regulatory conditions. And lastly, an improved understanding through greater transparency that promotes acceptance and buy-ins because rules are developed in an easy-to-understand markup language versus embedded in various places across legacy systems and difficult-to-interpret code within an organization.
And what are the components of an integrated business model driven by rules-based analytics? And what are the benefits that health plans can expect to achieve?
Sure. The role of technology is playing a greater role in how analytics are deployed across the enterprise. And this has created greater opportunities for companies not necessarily to deploy analytics in a localized setting, but really change their operating model based on analytics and business rules. There are typically 6 components of an integrated business model driven by this framework. Number one, there's the front-end applications such as case management systems, member services, portals, et cetera, that will interface and execute the predictive analytics solution. There's the scoring engine or the technical solution that is used to deploy predictive analytics and execute predictive analytics where appropriate in the business process. The business rules management system is the set of software and processes that translate predictive model output along with supplemental criteria into recommended business actions and send those results back to the front-end applications. Business intelligence tools are in place to measure and monitor the benefits of predictive analytics-enabled business decisions. There's the service-oriented architecture or the integration layer that integrates all these different components into a common integration framework such that analytics are seamlessly deployed within the enterprise. And lastly, and certainly not least, an overall business strategy or decile management concept that translates specific actions based on predictive model output or scores.
What are some business applications that can be enhanced by rules-based analytics?
Okay. Both traditional and emerging applications, or in essence, any application where there's some level of subjectivity in the decision-making process, are all applications that can be enhanced by rules-based analytics. So if there's traditional applications such as disease management, health education, member retention, new product design, solutions that are designed to enhance the overall customer experience are all analytics applications that require some level of subjective decision-making, whether it's by the case manager that's going to take the recommendation from a disease management model and provide some recommendations or guidance to the member, or it's the member that's involved in a product selection. Rules-based analytics is an opportunity to eliminate some of that subjectivity and apply consistent decision-making each and every time in the decision-making process.
Would you like to offer any closing comments?
Sure. I think in the infancy of predictive analytics in health insurance, merely having analytics in place offered companies competitive differentiation. But as predictive analytics use has become more and more mature, companies must seek new ways to maximize the return on their predictive analytics investments. Statistics has shown us time and time again that the predictive analytics or the predictive models by itself work. For a specific application, they achieve the desired benefit or the desired objective, which is to synthesize the relationships and data and predict some outcome that's actionable. Unfortunately, where many insurance companies, and for that matter, companies across various industries have struggled, is to take those recommendations or take that output derived from predictive analytics and apply it consistently each and every time within the decision-making process. Because us, as human beings, all process information differently, and there's always going to be an inherent subjectivity in the decision-making process. Rules-based analytics is one way to ensure that the insights gained from predictive analytics or the actionable outcomes are acted upon consistently across the organization. And it's an opportunity to ensure that those recommendations are implemented consistently each and every time.
Thanks again, Mo. This presentation is complete.